it's time to get into my NFL hot seat rankings. Who's in trouble heading into 2018? I will count you down from number 10 all the way to number 1. I also have my little scale of hot seats. So lukewarm, cool, blistering lava, you'll see them. Let's get to number 10 on the list here. And we will go to the nation's capital and talk about Jay Gruden. So, believe it or not, Gruden is the longest tenured coach under the Dan Snyder regime. Also tied for the 5th longest in the 86-year history of the franchise. Gruden is signed through 2020 after receiving an extension last season, but you'd never really know at this front office, folks. So, the Redskins need somebody to step up at wide receiver this season, whether it's Jamison Crowder or Dotson or Paul Richardson, who they recently signed. Somebody has to emerge for Alex Smith, who, of course, is the new quarterback in town as well, because there is no guarantee at all, by the way, that Jordan Reed is going to play 16 games this season. So you keep that in mind. Hopefully the offense bounces back, because it seems like the Redskins have been stuck in neutral for so much time now. I wouldn't say this is a make or break season for Jay Gruden. As you see, my hot seat meter is lukewarm. So not too much pressure on this guy to go 10-6, 11-5 or something. But if the Redskins have another typical like 8-8, 7-9, and like there's just no improvement at all, Dan Snyder may be close to firing Jay. By the way, I've seen some comments about Raider Nation. Don't worry, John Gruden is not on this list. Let's go to number 9 here. We'll go to Miami and talk about Adam Gase, the supposed quarterback whisperer who has not been whispering very well. Now, the Dolphins have made some interesting moves so far. You know, trading for Daniel Kilgore there at center, letting Mike Pouncey go, letting Jarvis Landry go, signing Josh Sitton, which I thought was a good move, but cutting Ndamukong Suh was kind of odd. Adam Gase's future, to me, really depends on how Ryan Tannehill bounces back from injury. Last season was an absolute train wreck with Jay Cutler and Matt Moore at the quarterback position. Tannehill has to make that leap forward. And I'll say this. Kenny Stills and Devontae Parker have some big-time pressure on them as well, especially Parker. This is supposed to be the season of Devontae Parker. I don't know if it's going to be, because first of all, Parker's hurt, and second of all, he has been earning really bad reports out of training camp so far. So it's got to be all on Kenny Stills in my eyes. And look, going from 10-6 in 2016 to 6-10 in 2017 is not a good thing to have on your resume. Now, I do like the rookies here that Miami has. Minkah Fitzpatrick, Jerome Baker, Mike Gesicki. I think they'll pan out well for Miami and ultimately pan out well for Adam Gase's cause. Now, in terms of the AFC East, BetDSI gives us the odds for the AFC East winner. New England is the extremely heavy favorite, as you see their number. Miami is 2. Buffalo at 3, the Jets at 4. If you are a risk taker, I would not bet in this division. It's going to be New England, and that's that. I think you move on to maybe the AFC West. Miami's going to finish last in the AFC East. I think the Jets are more talented. I think the Bills are more talented, although marginally, than the Miami Dolphins. And the Patriots are going to be number 1 yet again. So will the Patriots win the AFC East? Pretty sure it's going to be a consensus answer of Wise down the board here on Facebook Live as well as YouTube Live. You know, death, taxes, Patriots winning the division. Kind of how it goes. All right, Adam Gase, we'll see if he survives this season. He's at number 9 on my list. Let's go to number 8 here. To the NFC we go. And by the way, I want to hit up my guy, Daddy Smoke, saying that Jay Gruden is not on the hot seat. Daddy, I got to say, man, I think he could be. Just saying. He probably won't get fired this year, but he needs to turn around this franchise. All right, Mike McCarthy of Green Bay. So he's been on and off the hot seat, it seems, for the last 7 years. The Packers are shaking things up again. New DC and Mike Pettin. They have Joe Philbin as the offensive coordinator here. Now, Green Bay is coming off a season where they missed the playoffs for the first time since 2008. And, of course, the Aaron Rodgers injury sticks out to all of us. I get that. The Packers ranked 26th in total offense, their worst finish in that category since 1977, when they ranked 27th. Green Bay was 22nd in total defense. So, again, I understand the Aaron Rodgers injury and all that, but when you're a head coach, you should be able to battle through adversity and at least look competitive on the football field. They didn't when Brett Hundley was the quarterback. Maybe you should take a page out of Bill Belichick's playbook, i.e. back in 2008 when Tom Brady tore his ACL, Matt Castle was the quarterback, and they won 11 games. Amazingly, didn't make the playoffs that year, by the way, but still. Now, for Green Bay, I think obviously they're in for a bounce-back year, assuming Aaron Rodgers is going to be healthy. I think Green Bay will be fine. I think they will make the wild card. They're not going to win the division. I think Minnesota does. I think they have a young secondary that should develop well. Josh Jackson, Jair Alexander, these guys are highly touted prospects coming out of college here, and in the end, I think McCarthy should be okay. That's why I'm at lukewarm in terms of my hot seat meter about him. All right, let's talk about Todd Bowles now because he's at number 7 on my list. The Jets have been quite patient with Bowles as he endures this rebuilding process, if you will, with the Jets, and it might pan out. He did sign a 2-year contract last December. It was an extension, and could indicate that the team is invested in Todd Bowles here. We shall see. Now, the main storyline, of course, is how the quarterback competition shakes out. Will it be McCown? Will it be Teddy? Will it be Darnold in Week 1? All the reports out there seem to indicate that Sam is going to start Week 1 for the Jets, but I think McCown would be the smart decision. However the quarterback situation shakes out, I think Todd Bowles is going to be safe in 2018, but you can hear it in my voice that I'm not all that confident in saying that, especially considering the Jets have a young and up-and-coming defense here that I think should be one worth watching. And then the fact that, well, the running back core is solid, and the wide receivers are actually decent. Robbie Anderson is not a bad player. And Josh McCown looked adequate last year on that offense, so they should look even better this season with Sam Darnold or maybe Teddy Bridgewater there. So Todd Bowles could get fired this year. I also want to answer a question on Facebook Live from Chris asking if the Skins don't make the playoffs, do you think Jay Gruden will be fired? Chris, probably not. I have him in my lukewarm category here. Let's say the Skins go 9-7. I think Gruden stays 8-8. I think he stays 7-9, 6-10. Then things get toasty, all right? So keep that in mind. Once again, thanks to BetDSI for allowing us to bring you this fine program, The Cam Rogers Show. Support them, chatsports.com/bet. The best promo code ever known to man is NFL120. 120% deposit bonus. Get it done. chatsports.com/bet. All right, let's go to number 6 on my list here of hot seat candidates. And we will go to Denver. So Vance Joseph, many people thought that Vance was a one-and-done candidate after the 2017 season, but I think John Elway understood that the quarterback situation really didn't help Vance all that much. Trevor Siemian, Brock Osweiler, Paxton Lynch. I mean, I'm probably better than at least 2 of those guys. So with that in mind, insert Case Keenum, proven starter from last year with Minnesota, extremely talented defense, couple of solid receivers in Demaryius Thomas and Emmanuel Sanders, and a young running back in Royce Freeman, who I like a lot, plus a couple of young wide receivers like Deshaun Hamilton and Cortland Sutton. All the pieces are there for Denver to be good on offense. We know that defense is going to be top 10 yet again this season. The Broncos were 5-11 last year. They've got to be better than that. I'm thinking maybe 9-7, maybe 10-6 would be kind of in the Broncos' ceiling there. And maybe even the AFC West crown. Who knows? I think the division's going to be an absolute dogfight. I think you could make an argument for any sort of order in terms of the final AFC West standings. Whether it's Denver, Oakland, KC, and then the Chargers, or however you want to put it. I will say this. I have the Raiders winning the AFC West, which means the Broncos would have to be a wild card team to make the postseason. Do you think it'll happen? Type away 5 for yes in the comments section. We have Lamar typing away with 5. Type 6 for no. Let me know what you guys think. I'll be sure to give you guys shout-outs here on Facebook Live as well as YouTube. We got Andrew shouting out with a 6, so saying no for Denver. Raider Nation, if you're watching, hey, if you sign Khalil Mack, I think you're Super Bowl ready, but freaking sign the guy. All right, let's go to number 5 here on the list. John Harbaugh, my dude of the Baltimore Ravens, of course. The Ravens have made the playoffs just once the last 5 years. Now, much of that has to do with bad offensive line play, drops up the wazoo at wide receiver, Joe Flacco not playing to his $25 million cap hit level. There are many pieces at play here, but the Ravens have been in contention for the most part. It's not like this team has been an afterthought for the last few years. In fact, Baltimore should have been in the playoffs last year if it weren't for a complete mess-up by Dean Pease and that defense letting Andy Dalton win the game for Cincinnati in Week 17. And you could have looked back to 2013 too, guys. Remember that season after the Super Bowl? The Ravens in Cincinnati, all they had to do was win that game, and they're in the playoffs. And they lost and let the freaking Chargers into the postseason. By the way, actually beating Cincinnati that following week. LOL Marvin Lewis. So in terms of odds for the AFC North winner, BetDSI gives us those numbers. Pittsburgh, obviously the favorite. Baltimore's there at 2, plus 375. Cincinnati at 3. Cleveland a long shot. I think Baltimore will be fine this year. I love that defense. I know Jimmy Smith just recently got suspended, but that's okay. They got a lot of depth there. Tavon Young, Marlon Humphrey. They got Brandon Carr as well. So good pieces in that back end. I think the offensive line is going to be pretty good too. Joe Flacco, there is some sort of fire under his butt right now because he has looked elite so far in the preseason, and I think he can carry that into the regular season. By the way, being somewhat joking about the elite comment, but I do see Bill on Facebook Live saying, Ravens going to the Super Bowl. Bill, I won't say that, but I think the Ravens can get to the AFC championship game and take on the New England Patriots in Foxborough, and we all know how that can happen, where the Baltimore Ravens have, of course, beaten New England in Foxborough before. All right, so I think John's okay, but I'm going to keep him there at number 5. Let's go to number 4. This guy may not be okay. Jason Garrett, head coach of the Dallas Cowboys. So I think Dallas wins 9, 10, maybe even 11 games this year because I love the offensive line, if it is healthy, of course. Keep that in mind, Zach Martin, Frederick, etc. I love the defense, particularly D-Law in that secondary. And I think if you run the football effectively, if you're Dallas, which I think they will, you get the play-action game on the outside with Michael Gallup and, heck, if you want, Allen Hurns, Deontay Thompson, whatever the case, you're going to get those one-on-one isolation coverages on the outside if your play-action is effective, if your run game is working. That's why I think Dallas can win 10 games because I think they can control the line of scrimmage. And in the NFL, if you control the line of scrimmage, you win football games, i.e. the reason why I think Oakland is going to be good this year, why I think Tennessee is going to be good this year. Good offensive lines, good running backs, play action, pass rushing ability. It's all there. So Jason Garrett, he's got to go to the playoffs. That's the problem. And the NFC is super tight, super competitive. So Garrett has to beat out the champs in the NFC East, probably have to sweep the Redskins, at least steal one from the Giants. The Giants could be a surprise team, who knows? And if you lose twice to the Eagles, may not be a big deal. All things considered, though, I think Dallas will be in the wild card hunt. Haven't exactly cemented my prediction for the NFC East yet. I'll get there later this month. But I think Dallas should be in the wild card hunt, can probably make the postseason. I think Garrett will be okay. But if they don't, watch out. All right, so he's at number 4 on my list. Let's go to number 3. Can't believe this guy is actually still employed. Dirk Koetter of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So how about this? Koetter is already a longer tenured coach than the last 2 Buccaneers coaches. So there you go, Dirk, continuity. That's fantastic, my man. The problem is, I don't know what to expect from Tampa Bay. And I think they're going to struggle for a couple of reasons. One, Dirk Koetter is not a good head coach. Two, Jameis Winston has been suspended for a few games. That'll hurt Tampa Bay. And three, you're staring at an automatic 0-6 record because I think the NFC South will sweep this team. I don't think the Bucs can beat the Panthers. I don't think the Bucs can beat the Saints or the Falcons. So in that vein, you're already at an 0-6 hole here. Maybe they steal one against Carolina. Who knows? 1-5, whatever. Your margin of error is razor thin at that point to get into the postseason. And if you are Dirk Koetter, boiling lava hot seat. As you see on my hot seat meter, it's currently boiling hot. Could get even worse. So, yeah, the Bucs added some good pieces on that front line, bringing in Bo Allen, Vinny Curry, JPP as well, a couple of solid tight ends, O.J. Howard, Cameron Brate. They got Ryan Jensen at center, had a good year in 2017 for my Ravens. But Koetter's done, guys. I don't think Tampa Bay plays well this year. They certainly don't make the postseason. Koetter could be gone. In fact, he could be the first guy to be fired, so keep that in mind. All right, we'll get to number 2 on my list, but a shout out to Mizzen and Main. I am sporting one of their comfortable as F shirts right now. Feels fantastic, no ironing needed, no dry cleaning needed, and hey, it is super hot here in Dallas, and these shirts are perfect for the boiling hot lava heat that is going on outside right now. Perfect segment here with the hot seat rankings, by the way, talking about the NFL. Shout out to you, Mizzen and Main. Comfortable.af is the website. Get it done, folks. All right, let's go to number 2 here. And speaking of people I'm shocked about still being employed by the NFL, Marvin Lewis. How is this guy still a head coach? I don't know. But what I will say is I think Cincinnati struggles this year. I think they actually finished last in the AFC North. Don't at me. I think Cleveland finishes 3rd, Pittsburgh 1, Baltimore 2. In terms of a ceiling for Cincinnati, I think it's like 9 games. I just don't know what their identity is on offense, guys. Where's John Ross? Does Marvin Lewis still hate John Ross? Is he going to play at all in 2018? He better as a first-round pick. Yeah, they have A.J. Green. Yeah, there's some buzz about Joe Mixon. Didn't really see much from him last year. And yeah, I know there's Gio Bernard, but big whoop. If you can't block, it doesn't even matter who you have in terms of skill position players. And I still have my question marks about that front 5 there for Cincinnati. And so if they can't win on the line of scrimmage, they're not going to win football games. I mean, that's kind of been my theme here so far in this segment, but it's just a fact. And Marvin Lewis has yet to have a postseason victory. He is the 2nd longest tenured coach in the NFL, right behind Bill Belichick, and he's been to the playoffs 7 times. He has never won a game. Marvin Lewis has the same amount of playoff wins as this list of people: Cam Rodgers, me, Tom Cruise, Scarlett Johansson, Oprah Winfrey, and David Spade. All those people have 0 playoff wins, just like Marvin Lewis. He's got to get fired if Cincinnati does not make the postseason this year, folks. Hey, I could even throw all of you guys on this list, too. Daddy Smokes, I'll throw you on that list. We got Rick, Mitchell Renz, whatever. We all have the same amount of playoff wins as Marvin Lewis. So, God, figure it out. Will they ever win a playoff game? Type away, by the way. A for yes, B for no. Finally, number 1, we stay in the AFC North, and we talk about this guy, Hue Jackson. It's all there for you, Hugh. Jarvis Landry, you got Baker Mayfield, Tyrod Taylor, a veteran quarterback there. Josh Gordon is back. You get E.J. Gaines in that secondary. Maybe they do end up signing Dez Bryant. Who knows? But the pieces are there for the Browns to not be 0-16. And for Hue Jackson, the pressure is on. Blistering lava hot, folks. If he doesn't win 7 games in Cleveland this year, bye-bye. John Dorsey has no loyalty to Hue Jackson. John Dorsey is trying to save his own butt right now as the new GM of Cleveland. And if Hue Jackson is not delivering, could be time to say goodbye. And by the way, I was actually watching a show earlier today, and I guess the Browns are getting a lot of action in terms of Vegas right now. So chatsports.com/bet, boom, throw some money down on the Browns because, hey, you can join in on everybody else in the nation right now because everybody's in on the Browns. All right, so let's summarize my list here, folks. NFL coaching hot seat rankings. Vance, Todd, Mike, Adam, Jay, 6 through 10 there. And then the top 5 guys, these are the ones you got to watch for. Maybe not John Harbaugh, but Hue Jackson, Marvin Lewis, Dirk Koetter, Jason Garrett there, and then, of course, Harbaugh at number 5 on my list.